As anyone who's ever been to a gender reveal party will tell you, blue is for boy, pink is for girl. But why is this the case? Is there something biologic about this color distinction? Let's get into it. So as long as I can remember, there's been this idea that the color blue is for boys and the color pink is for girls. After all, you see Barbie wearing pink. You didn't see G.I. Joe wearing pink. That definitely was not the case. I think some of this might be changing now. It's sort of cool for guys to wear pink nowadays. But that definitely wasn't the situation when I was growing up. In fact, I remember I had this t-shirt that had a bunch of pink graphics on it. I think it was a 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶𝐄𝐓 shirt. And the kids would make fun of me. Part of it, I think, was they thought it was like an 80s shirt. It was outdated, but there's definitely some nuances that they felt it was a little feminine or girly for a boy to be wearing pink. At least that was the thought in the 90s. And so thinking about that, reminiscing back in those days, got me thinking, why is this the case? How did this distinction in the colors blue and pink for the different genders come to be? So believe it or not, this was not always the situation. In fact, prior to about the 1920s, boys and girls, young boys and girls, wore the same thing. They both wore white dresses. Check this out. So here is a photo of a young child in a white dress. Now, this picture is none other than President Franklin Roosevelt, the American president who would later lead the United States in World War II. And as you can see, as a young child, he was wearing a dress, and this was pretty normal. And I think parents probably liked it because their kids could share clothes, right? You could get hand-me-downs. If you have an older girl who wore a dress as a baby, then that dress could be handed down to maybe a younger boy. So you don't have to buy more clothes. And so that was the case all throughout the 1800s into the early 20th century. But then right around 1920, something changed. So here, gender-specific clothes for young kids came about. So you would have now young boys wearing little miniature trousers and then young girls wearing dresses. And I don't know this for a fact, but I suspect the clothing companies for young kids probably figured out that this was a way that they can make a quick buck. Now, parents can't just hand down the clothes from older siblings as easily. They got to buy new gender-specific clothes for their sons and daughters. And right around the same time, that's when you started to get these color distinctions with pink and blue. Now, here's an interesting fact. Initially, pink was actually thought of as the masculine color, as the color, like the fiery, lively, bold color for young boys. And then blue was sort of the softer, more quote unquote dainty color that was assigned to girls. And so it was actually initially the opposite. And I don't know when or how the roles switched, but eventually, as we all know, pink would eventually become the color for girls and then blue the color for boys. So as you can clearly see, we went from white dresses to girls wearing blue, boys wearing pink to the opposite. There really is not much rhyme or reason to this stuff. There's nothing inherently biologic about the gender distinction between the colors. But nevertheless, we make a big deal out of it, even to this day. With those gender reveal parties, you have all kinds of creative ways that people express the gender of their unborn child. And it's always some sort of variation of blue or pink. But I want to know what you guys think. In 2023, is there still a role for these gendered color distinctions? Or do you think that we should leave this as a relic of antiquity, something to just forget about, it's in the past? Let me know in the comments down below.